Cool. Welcome everyone to the Wild Winter Women YouTube channel. My name is Kari and I'm the founder of Wild Winter Women. I'm part of a team this year covering the 2026 Iditarod Trail Invitational, which is a human-powered winter ultramarathon happening right now in Alaska. Today is March 13th and I get to talk to Frances DeBlare, who participated in the 26 ITI bike division for her rookie year. Frances, welcome.
Thank you.
We were watching your dot and kind of knew a little bit about what was going on, but just tell us like right away, like how are you feeling? Are you recovered? How's the systems happening going?
Yeah. It's been a couple weeks. So yeah, feeling back to normal.
Good.
It was a tough year. Lots of unexpected unknowns thrown at me,
Yeah.
and it just kind of was what it was. There'll be another year.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I want to like pick it, like dig into every aspect of your awesome race. How did you get like looped into the winter ultra scene? I
Oh
read a
man.
little bit of your survey, a little
Yeah.
bit of your survey.
So I did some mountain biking when I was a kid, but then I had it wasn't a lot. And in my 20s, I had a pretty nasty accident and I just stopped completely.
Oh wow.
And I didn't really get back into mountain biking until I met my wife about 7 years ago. No, almost 8 years ago. And she was an avid mountain biker, and she convinced me that I should ride a bike again. And we got into bike packing and decided that we wanted to bike pack the Denali Highway, which is 135 miles of dirt road, very remote in Alaska. And there was a group that was offered by Janice Tower to do a group training for the Soggy Bottom, which was a race in August. And that's about when our planned bike packing trip was. So I joined the training group and I totally got my butt kicked. Um, Needless to say, I was dead last on every training ride, and it was miserable and wonderful. And with the timing of weather and when our trip was planned, we ended up opting out of our trip
Yeah.
because the weather had turned, the date shifted so that it was now the first week of hunting season. And we just decided that it was a better idea to stop. So I had a friend that talked me into doing the Soggy Bottom as part of a three person relay team, which is still 35 miles over a mountain pass. And it was also kicked my butt. But that kind of spurred I like being out on a bike in remote places. I like pushing the boundaries of what I think I can do. I went into a couple more like smaller winter races. Like we've got the Frosty Bottom here in Anchorage. And so I did that. And then I did the long version of that. And after I'd heard about the ITI, it was like this incredible, amazing thing. And the athletes that did it were just so impressive. And it was oh my God, I want to see this. I want to watch this. I want to be part of this. And then there's thought of, oh my God, I could never do that. And I started getting into some of the winter races and I'm like, well, maybe I could do this. And so I started like working my way towards it. Did the Sioux 100. It was a terrible snow year. It snowed 8 inches the day before the race. And I pushed my bike for 7 hours and I missed the first checkpoint cutoff time.
Yeah.
So came back the next year, completed it. The next year I did the White Mountains 100 and the ITI training camp,
Yeah.
and officially qualified for the ITI this year. So exciting and terrifying.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there is this just natural progression of like that always kind of sparks with this like curiosity, and also finding the thing that you like, I imagine I don't ride mountain bikes, but like fast and twisty versus
Mhm.
bike packing, which you can kind of maybe look around and like get into that endurance side of things. Um, the prep up, to the for these races, like you had the ITI training camp and then working with Coach Janice Tower, who was
Yep.
like extraordinaire athlete on the ITI.
Absolutely.
So I'm curious about both of those because I know Janice a little bit. And then also the ITI training camp, like how did those prep you for this race that was coming up?
Yeah. So Janice, obviously a fantastic coach.
Yeah.
When I first had the idea that, maybe I want to do the ITI, but let's do some races first. Obviously, there's qualifiers. I had reached out to her post Soggy Bottom and just kind of talked like, what does it look like? Would you be willing to train me? Obviously, that my endurance and fitness and bike skill is like ground level. So I've got a lot of work to do, but would you be willing to train me? And so going into the Sioux 100 training, it was building that endurance on a loaded bike, because the Sioux 100 has gear requirements and you have to bring a sleeping bag and you have to bring 3,000 calories of food and you have to bring so much water. Like, it's pretty much a bike packing trip. So it pushed me to like get used to the heavy bike in the snow and in soft conditions. And she would, obviously progress the training throughout the year where you have longer endurance rides and you start building. And then some of the trainings would be go push your bike for 4 hours. And it literally meant find some soft snow and push it. So it helped,
It
and
helps. Gotta do it.
yep. And I am not one of those people to do the bare minimum. I tend to go above and beyond. So,
So weird
um,
that's so weird. You don't see that characteristic in our sport at all.
no, not at all. So, yeah, my bike ended up fully loaded always before she had your bike should be fully loaded now. I was like, I've been loaded for 3 weeks. The pushing trainings, like I would take the easy, weekday endurance rides, and instead, oh, it snowed a foot. I'm gonna go push my bike.
Yeah.
And so I got really used to it. And the first couple years was really the Sioux 100 was just building that endurance, building that knowledge and experience of cold weather management. How to like, what is my water system? What is my food system? What foods can I eat when they're frozen? All of the little stuff. Going into the White Mountains, obviously that's a much bigger race. It's colder, it's in Fairbanks, you expect overflow and ice. The elevation gain is substantial, so that the training obviously progressed. Um, but that year, knowing that I was wanting to do the ITI the following year, I had also started really pushing and doing a lot more winter camping. During the Sioux, like I was just curious. I wanted to see what it felt like. So I'd sleep out in my sleeping bag in my backyard. Varying conditions. Oh, it's going to be minus 17 tonight. Let's go sleep in the yard. Oh, it's supposed to snow a foot tonight. Let's go sleep in the yard. And you start playing with your system that way. And if it sucks, which one night it did, I found out I can't sleep in a bivvy with it closed. I apparently am claustrophobic.
Right.
And so I ended up bailing and going inside because it's snowing. And it
Yeah.
was like, yeah. So White Mountains, I started doing more winter camping. And a lot of it, we do a lot of bike packing. Like during the summer, during the first few years of my relationship, we would bike pack almost monthly, like an overnight somewhere. And the system that I have on my bike is the same for summer or winter. Everything goes in the same pockets, but in summer it's just a little bit lighter, a little less bulky. So the system was already in place. I just had to adapt the gear, but did
You
some
sound like
winter
a
camping.
pro. You totally sound like a pro. Like it's so cool. I love
I mean, I'm always so concerned about not knowing. So I like to test everything, and I tested in kind of safer places. My first super cold weather rides, I was worried that I wasn't going to be able to handle minus 20. So I just biked the bike path around Eagle River where I lived. And I knew that if something happened, there's businesses. I can call my wife and she can pick me up. I can walk out to the highway and flag down a random car, and I'm sure they're
Yeah.
going to let me warm up. So I made sure I had the safety nets. And then once I was like, okay, I can survive 6 hours in minus 20. Now I'm going to go out onto the Iditarod Trail and see what that feels like.
Yeah. I
So
love it.
it's
If anybody's
Yeah.
watching right now and they're like, I don't know what to do, that's what you do. That's it. That's the base of like making sure that you're like you know yourself and your systems in these safe, controlled environments, and then you go into the world and see how you can do it. I mean, you nailed it. That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So,
Yeah.
um,
So
but
you
yeah,
had
I
all these
mean,
systems set up. What was the training camp like? The ITI training camp?
training camp was awesome. I definitely went into it with probably a higher knowledge of my gear and winter camping just because of the experiences that I'd forced myself into.
Yeah.
But the camp was fantastic. My one of my biggest drivers for wanting to go to camp is they have an open water experience
Yeah.
where they literally force you to simulate gear failure crossing through open water.
Amazing.
And obviously, like, I have wiggies. I had Neos over boots that would have rolled up and kept my legs and feet dry, but that is not the point. They
Yeah.
literally tell you whatever you have, you're not allowed to use. You're simulating an accidental water immersion or water crossing, and your gears failed. Now, what do you do? So
Wow.
I picked
What
up
did you
my
do?
bike, carried it through the open, like they took an axe and they opened up lake water so that
Yeah.
we could walk through it. Water got inside my boots, inside my knees, and it was just walking through it, getting out. Okay, now you have to react. And obviously prior to this, they gave you all the tools. They said, when this happens, this is what you do. You do A, B, C, D. This is the plan. And then they make you practice it. Luckily, it was also really warm that year. It was like 20, 30 degrees, darn. But,
Yeah.
you know, frozen water into your boots, and then you
Yeah.
still have to ride back to camp a couple miles. It's a like a legit test of you have to experience this.
Yeah.
And it's very shocking how warm your feet actually stay when you put on the toe warmers and you put the trash bags on. My boots and Neos were totally soaked, like all the way through on both feet. But my feet were so damn toasty when I got back to camp that I was just like, well, I can take my time. I'll get my things out, whatever I need to change. Like,
Yeah.
there was no rush. It was incredible. But
That's cool.
they really start at like ground zero. Day one, how do you use your stove? How do you melt snow?
Yeah.
Like, they walk through the step by step on this. You're forced to sleep out every single night, pack a camp every single morning, and then that night you find a new spot, stomp out a new bivy spot, you set up camp again and repeat. So you
Cool.
spend time out there. They walk you through fire starting, how to pick a bivy spot. They do some, race details, which is super cool insider information.
Yeah.
Um, but it is an incredible experience. And it's in that, again, safe environment.
Yeah.
You're given the instruction, you're given the tips, and you have these repeat pros to be able to ask all the questions to. I mean, the bikers hung out with Troy. Troy is incredible, a
Right.
wealth of knowledge. And we just picked apart his bike and his gear and every aspect of what he does, even the failures, the mistakes he's made. What do you wish you knew on the first time? Like, just an incredible experience, very worth it.
Cool. Yeah, Troy is actually out there right now on the
He is.
1,000, right? There's only six
Yep.
people left, and Troy's one of them. So,
Yep.
um, which is, I think they're calling them the stubborn six or something like that.
Absolutely. I think with
So,
this year you've got to be.
yeah, completely. I mean, I do love that there is this wealth of knowledge that people are so willing to share with each other too, because, you know, where would we be? Where would we be? I wouldn't know how to work my GPS, if it wasn't for
Yeah.
people helping. So there's just so much. And every time Troy and people like Troy answer a question, and like Janice, like nobody does this stuff. But the ones
Yeah.
that do, are willing to share and teach, and that's really cool. I think it just makes it
Yeah.
so much more possible.
Absolutely.
So what was so the first bike packing trip to and like that? Oh, I really like this. To day one of the ITI. What was the time? How many years was that? Was that a few years?
Um, So the first bike packing trip that I ever did was with my wife, and it
Yep.
was a picture of what not to do. It was just miserable, but nobody bike packed. There was nobody here. We just kind of winged it, and it was horrible. And we loved it. And so we just kept doing it. But that was, yeah, that was about maybe about 6 or 7 years ago.
Okay.
And then the Soggy Bottom was about 5 years ago, and my first Sioux was 4. So I'm like pretty, by comparison, pretty new into this,
Yeah,
slowly ramping up.
totally. Um, okay. Tell me about your race. Tell us about your race. Like you
Oh man.
done the prep and then you
Yep.
started and then like the was it the day before you got the Hinkling or the
Day
morning of?
of,
Yeah.
literally the morning of the race, I woke up out of a dead sleep at 4 a.m. and my throat was sore and my sinuses were clogged. Like I'd been feeling a little bit tired, like leading up to it,
Mhm.
but I figured, I'm just coming down off of a ton of training. My body is recouping. Not a big deal. Nope. I was sick. My
Yeah.
body was getting sick. I took a whole bunch of cold meds, went back to sleep because, 2 p.m. race start. You have a lot of
You've
time to
got
react in
time.
the morning. Woke up my normal time and my sore throat went away, but I still had very clogged sinuses, like the runny nose, the sensitivity, like yeah. So then there's those millions of thoughts of should I even start? Like, I know that this probably isn't going to get better, but if I don't start and I wake up feeling fantastic tomorrow, I am going to be so pissed that I didn't start.
Right.
So there's that. I have to go try. Just
Mhm.
see. So I packed a whole bunch of cold meds into my bike, packed extra calories, because when you're sick, you have to eat to feed your immune system. And then on top of that, now I'm going to be riding my bike in snow
Yeah.
for however many miles. It's like I have to eat extra. I know that I have to eat extra to feed both of these. Um, Race start, everybody's super excited. I'm just kind of like, this is going to suck. It'll be fine. See how far I get.
Yeah.
Um, Kind of like softer snow conditions right on the lake, but man, the trails got really good after that as soon as you got over the little hump. Um, so everybody talks about like what route are you going to pick? And there's so many, like, 500 ways to get to Big Lake
Yeah. So
and then
annoying.
500 ways to get to the Yitna.
Yeah.
So being a local and having a lot of that local knowledge there, like I knew what some of the trail conditions were, and I knew from friends that Fish Creek could be faster. And so I kind of made this decision that when I got to Fish Creek, 'cause there's that little bridge that goes over, I was going to decide at that point if I wanted to take the Fish Creek cutoff or if I wanted to follow the trail to the 5 mile Aurora cutoff. And I got there and I saw 2 little bike tracks heading off, and I'm like, screw it, we'll give it a shot.
Yeah.
It was okay. I probably shouldn't have done that. Um, that definitely added some time to my route because I pushed all the way through Fish Creek up to the road, and there
Yeah.
was like a 6-foot berm, and it was soft. So as soon as I stepped on it, my foot sank down. So trying to, yeah, that was not smart. Mistakes. We'll add that to the list. Um, on the road, man, I made up some time, got out onto Big Lake, and it was just fantastic. Got out towards Butterfly Lake on the trails, and it started getting real soft. Later afternoon, the trail was not as easy. I was getting really tired by that point, and just as I was getting to the choice point of do you go across the lake or do you take the overland route,
Mhm.
I ran into Janice, and she stopped, took my picture, we chatted a little bit, and she's like, the overland route is really terrible. The lake is slightly less terrible. Go the lake. It's like, okay, great. Um, Made it out to right at the point that I was going to get on the lake, and Kinsey and Mark were there. They
Yeah.
also confirmed that on
Cute.
both bike and skis, the overland route was terrible and that the lake was better. So I got out on there and I pushed out, rode out. There's a really horrible soft snow machine trail, but then the trail starts kind of veering away.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at my map and I'm looking at this trail. And there's nobody out there. Like I can see a bike just starting to come out on the lake. And I'm like, man, I just don't want to veer so far off that then I'm backtracking. And so I picked a snow machine track and I just beelined it across the lake. At second mistake. I made it about halfway out across this lake and I look back and the biker's now made it to where I went out on the lake and he's just standing there on the trail. And all of a sudden we see the snow machine coming out from the other lake. And then it takes this trail parallel to me. I was like, yep, made a mistake. But I'm in it, knee deep post falling, made it through. Did not help my I'm feeling tired.
Right.
Yeah, made it to Butterfly Lake checkpoint. So soft, man. The trail conditions were so soft. And then I got there and like the volunteers and so many friends were there and they were like super excited and cheering me on. And can I get you water? Can I get you food? And my brain was no longer processing anything. It was just, I don't know what I need. I need nothing. That's a problem. I know that.
Yeah.
And the longer I stood there trying to figure out what I needed, I suddenly realized I am very cold and I need to go get warm. And so I got some warm water in my bottle. I left my bike where it was, went over. They have the little warming shed off to the side. And I was told that it has to have been like 100 degrees in there, but I was freezing and I couldn't get warm. A little while later, Aaron and Mike found me. They came in, found me and got me food, started pulling gear off of my bike. Like, here's a pad. If you're laying down, just have a pad and be comfortable. Let me get your sleeping bag, like warm you up. And I kind of realized I'm not leaving here under my own power. Like I can't go on. But it's the first day of a 10-day race. So I'm sure as hell not scratching on the first day, 20 miles in.
Yeah.
And I
Was
opted
gonna
to
say,
just
for those that don't know, like this butterfly is like 26. I mean, it's not even a full, like a marathon into the first
no,
300 miles. It's so quick in there. So
yeah,
to feel like that so soon, it must have been just heartbreaking. But
it was absolutely terrible. But I decided, there's no reason for me not to just sleep the night here, see how I feel in the morning. So I stayed the night and it was not a terribly restful night because I still have people coming in, making sure that the stove is good. But the volunteers were fantastic. Like Cynthia kept coming in and checking on me every couple hours. If do you need water? Do you need food? Do you need the fire stove? Like whatever. And that morning, as the light is starting to come in, I'm like, I don't feel worse than how I started. And I definitely don't feel like I did last night. So I feel like I've got to give it a shot. If it sucks, I'll come back. It's 10 miles out to the Yentna. And if it sucks, then I'll just do another 10 miles to Deshka Landing and call the wife to come pick me up.
yeah.
And I got everything loaded up, got more water, let the checkpoint volunteers know I was going to move on and gave it a shot. At this point, keep in mind, I am the dead last person. All of the foot racers had come in and left by a significant amount of time. So I was like, okay, perfect. I was like, well, we're just going to see where the day takes me. No matter how you look at it, I've still got 10 days to complete this thing. I know I can bike faster than, that to be able to make up time. Let's just see. I started passing foot racers, made it out to the Yentna, and I'm feeling okay. This is terrible. The sun is coming up. The trail is fantastic, and I was able to like get some good momentum. By the time I made it out to Yentna Station, I had caught up to 3 bikers.
Yeah.
There were 3 bikes sitting there when I got there, so I'm pretty good. Like, okay, I'm not totally, dead last anymore. I just got a water top off there and then it decided I wanted to go to the Iditarod Trailside Lodge, grab lunch, and then contemplated if I was going to stay there or if I was going to push on to Hooligan. Got there, had lunch, Chet was there, and looked at the tracker, and I saw so many people between me and this, and I started thinking, I don't feel like I should push things. I'm feeling okay, but if I push things, it's going to get worse. I need to make sure I have somewhere warm to sleep. I'm still sick. So sleeping out and bivvying is probably not an option I can consider. Can I make it 11 miles? Most likely. The snow was getting soft, but it was still rideable. And I ultimately made the decision just to stay the night there. I had my own room to myself. It was quiet. It was restful. It was fantastic. Amazing food, good company. Next morning, I woke up, my period started 5 days early. It's like, great, we'll add that on to this list. Perfect.
No.
So,
Wait.
so start off, got a super early start, left Iditarod Trail side about 4 or 5 a.m. Did I lose you?
1 second. I think I might have lost you. Okay, sorry about that. I think we had a technical issue, and I'll just take the blame for that since I'm always the problem. Okay, Frances, continue. Okay, so you woke up
Yes.
the next day.
Woke up the next day, had a really early morning start, and when I woke up, I had my period. Surprise, 5 days early.
So 5 days.
At least I knew it was going to come, so I was prepared. I had things packed, but yeah, 5 days early meant that I was going to have it for like the entire race, as opposed to maybe just a couple days on the end.
Yeah.
So add that to my already not feeling well. Now I've got to feed my exercise, I have to feed a cold, and I have to feed my period.
And I
Perfect.
have to feed my period.
So headed out for Hooligans. It was cold that morning. It was like -10. But it was so fast. The trail was
Yeah.
so good. The night before was so soft. So it was like, it was nice. I was like, this is great. We're gonna make up some time. Made it to Hooligans, had a big breakfast. Passed another biker on the way there. So I was like, I'm in it. I'm back in the race. Not that I was, am competitive. Obviously, I'm not trying to win this thing. I just want to complete it, but preferably not
Feels
dead
good.
last.
Feels
Yeah.
good.
Yep. Um, had a great breakfast, lots of hot water. Things started to kind of warm up and continued on the trail. Um, the trail was really good, but it started getting windy. So maybe a few miles out of Hooligan, the wind started picking up, and it was like this fantastic headwind. It was warm at least, so I don't know, it had to have been like maybe 15 degrees, but then this wind kept kicking in and it kept like blowing me over. And it was one of those where like you can barely stay on your bike, let alone on the packed trail. And so I had to keep stopping and like putting my bike back on the trail and going. Made it into Squentna, and the wind had just really picked up. It was not great. Got a big meal at Squentna. They had lasagna, which was just amazing, some hot water. Um, some other friends had like come in and left and get back out on the trail. And leaving out of Squentna, it's like this nice little treed, path, and then it opens up onto the swamp. And the treed path was great because it blocked all the wind. And so you're just cruising along and enjoying it, nice full belly. And then it opens up on the swamp, and I ride out like an idiot, and the wind just smacks me over. I was like, okay, let's rethink this. Huge crosswind, and you're looking out of the trail, and you just see ground blizzard, and there's like little drifts that are starting to form. And I was like, okay, this section is not going to be as fast as I hoped. The conditions are not as good as they were on the way to Squintna, so it's going to take me a little longer. And I started out and I let some air out, got stuck in a drift, let some more air out, got stuck in another drift, let some more out, realized at that point that I let way too much air out. Now my tire was flat, put some more air in.
Bike
The never-ending bike cycle.
Never.
Finally kind of got to like that happy medium of soft enough that I could semi-ride some of the drifts, figured out where in the drifts I could ride. So it wasn't terrible. And then the trail turned and so this section is like Iron Dog, and there's a big deep rut where the Iron Dog went through. And with the change of wind direction, the change of trail, the snow drifts were now as tall as my bike was. So they're no longer rideable. It's very much just pushing my bike after snow drift after snow drift. Finally, we kind of get to a point where the trenched trail is not as bad and I can ride a little bit again. And then we turn into the trees. And at that point, I realized, man, I haven't been eating as much as I probably should have because I'm still not hungry. I still feel really full from lunch, which was really concerning because it had been hours at that point.
Yeah.
I was still eating and I was still drinking, but it was not as much as I normally would have because I felt so full. I start pushing my bike up. Well, before I pushed my bike up, I put a ton of air in my tires because the trail is just fantastic at this point. So I decided I want to get every pedal stroke out of this that I possibly can and be able to climb these hills because I know that these hills are within my ability to climb. And I felt just exhausted. And I was like, this is fantastic going into these hills. I knew that there was, so when we got there, there was this like 5 snow machine wide ice road. It was just fantastic. And I knew from watching the dots that it was a mistake. You have to get the right trail to go over the hills or it adds on miles. And I knew that. So I cruising along this hill and I see this little tiny single snow machine track wide trail and I stop, look at my GPS and I was like, oh, this is it. I see why everybody missed it. It's like an invisible trail. Mm-hmm. Took it, started pushing up. And at that point, my stomach is very upset. And I realized that my lunch was a big mistake. And I start having little emergency stops all along the trail. In addition to everything else.
Just one more thing. Why not?
Tack it on.
Why not?
Add on reasons why I have to stop riding my bike.
Go on. Might as well go all in, I guess.
All in. Yeah. Just everywhere. Where can something be coming out of?
Where can something be coming?
Sorry, TMI.
No. I love it. This is what I'm here for. I don't.
Yeah. So at this point, like my stomach isn't having it. Like I crammed as many snacks into my body as I possibly could. And I'm thinking something has to absorb and hopefully I can just keep making it. Pushed up all of Shell Hills. I couldn't ride any of it. There was just nothing left. So I just pushed my bike all the way up, made it to the top. I'm like, it's flat. And it was so drifted I couldn't ride again. And then it starts getting dark and there's little spots in the trail where it's like, I could ride this, but I could maybe ride it for about 20 feet. Is it worth swinging my leg over the bike? No, it's not. I'm just going to keep pushing my bike. And you can't see anything beyond that. So it's like, well, maybe it's a small drift and you can make it over. I have no idea. My headlamp, that's it. Yeah. So made it out of the hills onto the lake. The nice downhill wasn't bad. Like you could ride that. You just had to watch out for the giant drifts. You hit a drift and it was like front wheel stuck in and that was it. So you had to take it very cautiously. And the lake was so drifted, but it was at least mostly rideable. I could pick a line through the lake that I could ride like half of it, maybe a little more. Made it into Shell Lake. There's 2 warming cabins at Shell Lake for people that don't know. The Shell Lake Lodge is not open, but the cabins are, and they're just like these little dry cabins. They've got a bunk bed with twins and a queen bed and a little wood burning stove. And the first one was completely dark, and there was a bunch of sleds out in front of it. So I knew that there was people in it. And the other one had a bunch of bikes out in front of it and was like well lit. And you could see headlamps moving around. So I was like, all right, I'm going to leave my bike here and just go check out the situation up there. It was packed to the gills like sardines. I think there were 2 or 3 people in the queen bed, plus 2 or more on the floor. Like, if there is a space for a body to lay, it was taken. So I was like, okay, this is not the room for me. I have to go down and check out the other cabin where it's dark. There's obviously people sleeping. There was a foot racer outside that was getting his stuff and preparing to leave. And and he said, yeah, there's only 2 people in there.
Yeah.
There's space. And I was like, oh, okay, great. Looked in, there were 3 people in there, but I was like, there's floor space. Okay. So on the way down the hill, before I got onto Shell Lake, I passed 3 foot racers. So I knew that there was more people coming in.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm going to take my time getting my gear. That way we can all just disturb these people at once instead of the chain of events
That's
of 4
very
people coming in.
thoughtful of you. And so that like the conveyor belt of humans coming in going, where's the, yeah, that's very
Yeah.
smart. Very
Yeah.
considerate.
So waited, started getting some stuff collected and ready. So as soon as they showed up, I kind of gave them the rundown. And then we all went in and disturbed the peace.
Yeah.
got the got the fire stoking so they could all dry their shoes out. Started like figuring out where are we going to sleep. Two more of the racers that were sleeping decided with all the noise to get up and leave, and we're like, fantastic, we got more beds. Yeah. But yeah, so by that point I was completely drained. My sinuses were so bad that my entire face just felt swollen.
Yeah.
And I was 100% mouth breathing. I couldn't even eat because I couldn't hold my breath long enough to chew and swallow. And so I took a bunch of Sudafed, and I brought Imodium, so I took that. I took some Aleve. I'm like, how can I neutralize all of the discomfort that I possibly have? And I was like, just absolutely miserable. The smoke for sure didn't help from the wood stove. It was warm. So it's like sleep outside where it's getting very cold, or sleep inside and deal with the smoke. I slept inside, tried to get a couple hours sleep on one of the queen bed. Not restful. The foot racers that I had passed coming down Shell Hills took off around 4 a.m. And then it was just down to me and one other foot racer in there. And we both looked at each other and we're like, when are you planning on leaving? Sunrise? Fantastic. Let's get some sleep. And there was no racers on the tracker for at least another couple hours. So we're like, yes, we can get some good sleep and then see how things feel when the sun comes up. And she started getting ready, starting to get daylight. She was up and moving, and I'm just kind of sitting there, and I feel not quite as bad as when I got to Butterfly Lake, but not far off. And it was just, I texted my wife and I was like, I have to be honest, I don't know if I'm leaving this cabin today. I don't have the energy. I know what's ahead. I have 20 miles of wide open swamp. It is currently minus 20, and I have a 40+ mile-an-hour headwind on top of that. I don't know if I have the energy in me for what I am hoping is only a 12-hour push, but given the conditions, it could be so much longer. And so I sat there and I thought about it, and I had breakfast, and I had a cup of coffee, and I took more cold meds, and I'm watching, the racers behind me start to make their way. Lars rolls in and he's like, yeah, I'm gonna be out of here in like 30 minutes. Well, an hour. Well, 2 hours. I want to be out of here by 11:30. So we're just like chatting and warming up, and he's thawing the snot-sickle and like snacking. And I see Chris is also coming up. He took the long route, the ice road. So I see he's coming up, and I was slowly starting to get things packed up because, the sun came up and it's sunny and it's gorgeous. And it's like, okay, I've got a little more motivation with the sunshine. Maybe I can do this. I got to try. The story of my ITI, I just have to try and see what happens. Um, so Lars takes off. Chris has made it in. He's exhausted and was saying that he was just going to hang out for a little bit. Lars takes off and I'm right behind him and Lars goes the wrong way out. I was watching the tracker, so I saw all the racers taking the wrong trail. And I told him, I was like, you got to be careful. Whatever is happening, the trail leaving out of here, it takes you the wrong way. Pay attention when you get to that point. And so he took off the wrong way, and I see his track going off that way. And I kind of followed it for a second. I was like, this can't be right. I already feel like this has got to be the wrong trail. I looked, like, yep. Went around, pushed my bike up the big hill, climbing out of Shell Lake. And I get to the top where it opens up to the swamp, and I just set my bike in the trees. And it's just howling wind. And I add on extra gear because it felt warm pushing my bike up. So I stripped down and I got up to the top and I put all the gear back on and I put on all of my, I'm going to go out into Armageddon gear.
Yeah.
And the trail behind me, windswept. My footprints, my bike tracks are gone. Like you can't even tell it was there. I push out into the wind and that first gust of wind hits me and like knocks me back. And I'm like, okay, I just have to put my head down and push. You can do this. And you could see little scratches where the trail went. And then there was a huge snowdrift. And then you could see a little few more scratches out there and then a huge snowdrift. And I was like, we got this. And I pushed out and I made it to the first snowdrift and I'm kind of trudging through and everything's sliding. And I'm just like, this is the dumbest idea I've ever had. Why am I doing this? Everything in my body was screaming at me, don't do this.
Don't do it.
It's dumb. And I'm like, it is so cold. It is biting through everything. There is no way that I'm going to be able to maintain this for 12 plus hours. And once I get out here, I'm in it. There's nowhere to hide.
Yeah.
It's 20 miles of swamp. And then when I do make it to Finger Lake, it's a wall tent.
It's a tent.
I'm like, it's a tent. There's not a warm place waiting for me to warm up, dry out, and recover. So on top of pushing my bike for 12 plus hours in whatever wind and temperature calculation equals out to, I'm still sick. How am I going to handle the first time I have to have an emergency stop or change a tampon or
right? All of
like,
those things which would have to happen.
They are going to have to happen multiple times.
Yeah.
On this journey. Mm-hmm. I was like, okay. I turned around, I went back into the trees and I totally cried, like utter disappointment that this was how it was ending. Rolled my the plus side, I could bike down the hill.
Down the hill.
So that was nice. I got to enjoy a little bit of my retreat, just sobbing as I'm crying down the hill. And right as I got down to the bottom where the trail had split and Lars went the other way, Lars was pulling up and he was like, we'll go together. Like, we can take turns. Like, let's travel together. We can make sure we stick together, take turns who's leading. Like, we can do this. And I'm like, I can't. Like, I don't have the energy. I am fully depleted. There is too much happening within my body. I don't have it in me at this point, and I need to go and sit in the cabin and think about it. And he was like, I'm going to go give it a shot. So we watched his dot climbing up the hill, and then we watched his dot turn around. In about the same spot, I turned around and I was like, okay. As I made it into the cabin, you know, Chris he was like getting geared up to come follow us out. And as soon as I came back, he was like, man, if you're opting out, he's like, I'm screwed. He's like, so we all collectively decided to just kind of like hang out. We're looking at the weather, you know, maybe the weather is going to get better. The wind is supposed to die down. Temperature is not supposed to get better. In fact, the temperature is going to get colder. So, you know, temperature wise, it would have evened out. But, you know, by 3 a.m., the wind was supposed to die down some. So we were just kind of watching it. And then and talking about, well, alternatively, what is our plan to get out of here? So at a certain point, Lars was like, you know what? My heart's not in it. I'm done. And he officially scratched. Shortly after, Chris officially scratched. And then there was just one little dot in that cabin. And then we heard a snow machine. One of the neighbors had been watching and noticed that two little dots disappeared and came over to check on us. Are you guys okay? What do you need? Do you need water? Do you need food? Like, and we're like, we're fine. We just gotta, figure out how to get out of here. We were kind of talking about riding out to Squintna and then getting a flight from there. And he was like, why are you gonna bike out to Squintna? Just call the plane. I have an airstrip on the lake.
There's an airstrip on the lake.
Yeah, like he put in an airstrip and maintained it, and we're like, okay, cool. We'll call him. It was late, so we knew we weren't going to get a response until 8 or 9 in the morning. And I was just like, maybe I'm going to wake up around 3 a.m. and the wind is going to be died down and it's going to be calm because I know I can withstand cold rides. Like I had trained. We had the super cold drop and it got down to minus 25. I bivvied out at minus 35. Like I knew that I could handle cold and I knew how to. I was like, but the wind is a whole other factor. And then 3 a.m. rolled around and you still hear the wind gusts and I still feel like shit. And I'm like, nah, I'm done. I'm totally done. We're accepting it. We're calling it. And then we got a hold of rests. They got us a flight. It's going to be like 3:30. I'm like, that's fine. Hung out, ate, drank, chit chatted. And then they called us back. Can you be ready in an hour? Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yep. Hopped on a plane and that was it. We were back in Anchorage in an hour. Like we went
Oh my
from the middle of nowhere, blowing and cold and miserable, to we're back in Anchorage and it's calm and it's sunny and it's 15 degrees and it's just perfect.
I mean, does that just a total mind?
Yes. It was, I felt just so weird the rest of the day. Like going from that experience to you're back in town, you're at your house.
Because you're
Like,
probably like in those conditions, you're in flight or fight.
yep,
And then all of a sudden to have this switch
yeah.
must have
It
been
was
like,
the weirdest feeling, like driving down the Glen Highway and me and my wife, and there's all these cars, and I'm like, there's too many people. It's too, like, I felt claustrophobic, like there's too much. I just needed, luckily, I live way out in Palmer. So our house is quiet. We're in the woods. It's way better. But in Anchorage, I was like, oh, this is like sensory overload. I don't
yeah.
know how to handle this. Weirdest feeling ever for me.
Oh my gosh, that's so, and that if people aren't familiar with the section out of Shell Lake, like it is 20 miles to fit around roughly 20 miles, right, from Shell
Yeah.
Lake to Finger, and you're exposed the whole time. And that's when you get these rough winds that we did see some videos and some pictures of people just trying to make their way across Finger Lake, just getting blasted. And that's where a lot of people got into trouble and then Rainy Pass. You're not the first person that has described it to me like this, though. Um, that it was like everything in my body was saying no.
Yep.
And I have never heard that described before to me about a race until this year. And you're like the fifth person that said that. Like this isn't for me right now. I gotta hoof it back
Yeah.
because these situations can be life or death
Yeah.
situations, or, putting yourself in dire straits and then putting someone else in dire straits. I mean, and then it was weird coming back to Anchorage or going back home. Were you like, was it like a week before everything just kind of got settled in a little bit?
Um, I so when I got back home, I'm still very sick at this point.
Yeah.
Um, Like all the things are still wrong and still happening. Luckily, I'm in the comfort of my own home, so I can just snuggle up on the couch with a blanket and a cup of tea. But
As
it
you
took a
should
couple,
when you're sick, right?
but it was, it was a couple of days, and I'm like, I am actually getting worse. Like my
Wow.
cold is not getting better. Um, and it was like, verge of TNI, but like green and bloody.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like this is a very big problem. Called teledoc, got antibiotics, you know, and by the end of the antibiotics round, I was like, okay, I feel like maybe 80%. Even now, like there's just I have some weird sinus things.
Yeah.
Like it's not completely right. I think I must have done some actual damage out there, but we'll give it time and see what happens. But
Right.
yeah, it's like it took days, many days for me to recover. Like my legs are like, yo, why do we stop? I got
Right,
another
right,
300
right,
miles
right.
in me. Like, let's keep going. Yeah.
Anyone up for a long ride, you know? But
Yeah. My legs are like, what did we even do?
right, right,
But
right, right. Are we
but everything
tapering
else,
now?
like, yeah, like neck above, wrecked.
Yeah.
Completely, absolutely toast. So
I mean, it is like it is wild too that there's so much prep and training and, money that you just kind of dump into this thing.
yeah.
Um, and time that you dump into this thing, which is fun, right? We like to do it. It's not like it's work, but it's still like a lot. And I think people would hate me for saying this, but like we have to believe that it means something, right? Like I'm gonna fill all these cups and they will mean something. Um, that they will, you know, turn into a finish. And Alaska decides, or the
Yeah.
body decides. Like sometimes these finishes are just like dumb luck, that you just got a
Yep.
good year. And that's kind of like my question that I did want to talk to you or ask you and talk to you about. Um, like the concept of the DNF, the did not finish, right? And ultras are like life so much, right? Just like that.
Hmm.
Like not everything turns out the way we want to. And if it was just as easy as like filling in these holes, checking these boxes, then we would
Yeah.
all finish and we would all have our dreams come true forever, but that's just not the way it works.
No.
And unfortunately. And but unlike life, I talk to women all the time and they say that they don't want to do this thing and then because they might, fail,
Mhm.
right? Which is
Yeah.
not a failure, but um and Allison Felix, I don't know if you know who she is. She's like the most decorated track athlete. She's an Olympian.
Hmm.
And she said that she loses more than she wins, and that's the way that it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And I think that's like she's the top of the top, right? So tell me, or if you could share with me, like how you're processing this now as the experience that you had and what it means to you going forward. And then also like how would you what would you say to someone, whether it's your past self or a woman in the future that's talking to you about this massive thing, the Iditarod Trail Invitational, right?
Hmm.
And they're like, I just don't want to do it because I don't want to
Yeah.
fail, like that's like
You
a
gotta
lot.
fail.
You gotta fail.
Yes. I mean,
Yeah,
seriously, that is all that training is it's trial and error. If you're afraid to fail, you're not gonna try.
right.
You can't be afraid of failure. I mean, I have tried so many things with gear, with, hydration, with fueling, and they haven't worked. Great. My idea was a failure. On to the next one. Try something different.
Right,
You have to keep trying, but the point is the trying.
right,
You have to be willing to put it out there, lay it all out there, every ounce of what you have in you, and try. Because what if you succeed?
Ugh, you're gonna make me cry. I
You,
mean, I love that. And like going out there, and I love the analogy of testing gear. Like if you test a water system and it doesn't work, like, oh, it's a failure. And then if I do it and it does, then I don't work, then I'm a failure. And it's like there has to be a
no,
different word we gotta use, like
yeah,
you're testing the gear and you're testing yourself. And
yeah,
either way, it's information. Right.
exactly. It's information, it's experience. Like if you don't try, you'll never succeed.
Yeah.
So you have to keep trying. And if you fail, man, we learn more from mistakes, more from failures than we do successes. I have failed so many times. I've scratched races. I've come very close to scratching a race. White Mountains, I had a migraine 2 hours into it.
Ugh. Man.
That was another one. I spent 11 hours at a checkpoint and I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm the only
It's
person that's
just,
doing this entire race in daylight because otherwise my alternative was to scratch. Like you have to learn from the things.
yeah,
And if you don't have bad things happen, you're not going to learn from them.
yeah. I mean, I think in our house, my boyfriend said, like, yeah, I think we've got a 50% success rate here for winter ultras. It's like that sounds about right. But I mean, yeah, you have like everybody wants these dream days, and I've had dream days on the trail, and you've had dream
Yeah.
days. But like, I don't learn anything other than like the appreciation of all that
Yeah.
work and the suffering is like, that's for
Yeah.
this 5 mile stretch of beautiful trail before it all
Yeah.
goes to crap again.
It's it's the
So,
culmination of our success and we get to celebrate those moments when everything worked right.
mhm,
But if we didn't put in the effort to figure out how to make things work right, we would never have those moments.
yeah,
We would never have the drive to keep putting ourselves through all of the stuff we put ourselves through because we do
yeah,
this to get to those perfect Zen moments where you're
yeah,
standing on the trail, everything feels right, it's gorgeous, you're by yourself, and it is just like those are the moments that drive me to put up with all the crap that we put
yeah,
up with
yeah,
so that we're ready to get to that point.
absolutely. I mean, no notes. That's so beautiful. And there's, the finish line, right? Like, ooh, the finish line, but like you can still have those moments with or without, like the
Yeah.
finish line is going to be the thing where like, I'm done. But every moment after you finish the race that you want to do, the only thing you want is to be back on the trail, not to be standing at the finish line with your friends, getting your picture
Yep.
taken. It's like, I wish that I
Yeah.
was at this one part watching these northern
Hmm.
lights.
Yeah,
Did you get
absolutely.
to see the northern lights?
I did not. I
Oh, I'm
was in
sorry.
that was part of sleeping inside.
Right, right, right.
Unfortunately, you don't have a great view of the sky, so but it helped me recover enough to still be able to make it 110 miles into this race.
Amazing.
Like this was a hard year and this is what I keep telling myself. It's a really hard year. This
Yeah,
is a really hard race. And the fact that I made it 110 miles sick as a damn dog in that kind of condition,
pretty cool.
it's still a massive success overall. And I learned a lot. I learned what I can handle.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, like learning what you like, learning like to listen to your body, but also like I loved your like, I gotta try. I have to try this.
Yep.
And the 2026 ITI, people are gonna be talking about this one for a long time, I think.
Yeah.
Like all the old
It's
timers are like, remember back in 2016? You're like, we weren't alive back then, Grandpa. Like this is what we're gonna be doing that, like 10,
yeah.
15, 20 years. We're like, this is nothing compared to the 2026.
Yes.
Yeah.
This,
So
yeah, an epic year by multiple proportions.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I do have one more question for you, and I know that we're going maybe a little bit longer. Are you good on
Yeah.
time and stuff? Okay. So we did a survey, or we sent a survey out, and you filled it out. Thank you so much. And you had noted in there, that you needed to, one part of your success into getting there was finding the right people to support you. And that's something that I've experienced in the last year. And I'm curious about like who your core group of people is, like, to you, and how did they help you move forward?
So obviously a huge part of the physical training aspect is
Yeah.
Janice. Janice
Yeah.
Tower has just been, I mean, she's literally been with me for 100% of my races.
Cool.
So
Cool.
she's seen a lot of growth in the whopping 5 years that I've been racing bikes.
Mhm.
Um, but truly like how I've gotten ready, lots of support, lots of encouragement, lots of knowledge. My wife Brooke has truly been the reason I even got into this. Early on when I started figuring out, oh, I do like riding bikes. It was because of her. I always blame her. I say, this is all your fault. You're the one that got me to ride a bike. So, and she was like, yeah, but you're the one that took it way out of
Way, you took
context.
it way too far. I
Yeah,
wanted to go on vacations.
exactly. She's like, I just mountain bike ride. You do crazy stuff. Um, but she has been truly like very supportive. Um, just I yeah, cannot thank her enough for all of her patience with the long rides and all of the, different gear trials, so many nights away. And then, she's at home taking care of the dogs, which she doesn't mind, but she's still taking care of the dogs. And then she, takes care of my son on the, weeks that we have him and I'm out doing training rides. So it's a ton of support. And man, I without her support and encouragement, I would never have done this. I never would have gotten into any of this. And then of course, some core friend group. I've got one friend that she goes with me on the most crazy training rides. She's always unloaded, so I'm like fully loaded on my bike and she's unloaded on hers. And she loves my training rides because she's like, I know we're going to get into something ridiculous and I am looking forward to it. So, like, I'm going to go push my bike up the side of this mountain. Great, let's go. You know?
That's it. We call them
Um,
a hell yeah girl. Like you always need a hell yeah
yes.
girl. It's like, you want to do
Yeah.
this? Hell yeah.
Yeah, like and definitely one of those people that she'll even, I had this other ride and I had this other thing, but I want to go on a Francis ride.
Ooh, Francis ride. That's awesome.
So yeah.
That's
But yeah, I've
amazing.
definitely had a few friends and even friends that did their rookie year ITI last year, went out camping with them.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been good. Like obviously in this type of environment, you start to know the few people that are really into this and you can have conversation, even if it's somebody that, I've never talked to. If I just message them out of the blue and hey, I've got a question on this, all
Yeah.
the information,
Yeah.
happy to share. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Lots of support from the community.
We do have all tens of us, but we do have a good,
Yeah.
we do have a really good community. And I mean, where would, like, there is this independence, this trail independence, and we are by ourselves out there, but like underneath this, like, us on the trail is a well of
Yeah.
humans, supporting us. So
Yeah.
I loved that you had pointed that out. Um, 2027, will you go back?
That
You don't
is,
have to answer now. We can
I
always think,
know
because it's
it's,
type B
it
fun,
is,
you know?
yeah, it is. That's, yeah, part of that my wonderful wife's support was she was really looking forward to a year off. She's like, you're going to do the
Oh,
ITI and you're going to complete it, and
yeah.
then we can have a winter where you're around more.
Yeah, yeah,
Especially this year, like
yeah,
the training for this year was massive. There was a lot of weekends away, multiple nights away, long days on the trail, and she just kind of like keeps everything going while I'm gone. So I know she was really looking forward to it. And she's told me she supports it. If I want to go back and try again next year, she will absolutely support it. I have to think about it and
Yeah.
make sure I can financially recover from this year.
Right, because there's
There's
always
that.
yeah.
Um, but yeah,
I'm in one of those years myself right now. Like it was the
yeah,
output year and this is my input year, because we
yeah,
do want we do want them to stick around,
yeah.
you know.
Ex exactly. So having the energy and the financial support and the family support, like, yeah, I'd always kind of thought that I would do the ITI this year and then do like the Sioux 100 because I'm in Alaska, so the Sioux is in my backyard.
Right.
That's a fun one. So yeah, at this point, I don't know. I do want to go back because I do want to still complete the ITI 350. Like that is still a goal that I have. So it's going to happen at some point eventually. I
Yeah.
figure. Or I'll try it a
Yeah.
whole bunch of times and fail and maybe be like, all right, maybe this isn't for me. But I don't know. Short answer, I don't know.
Cool.
I don't know
Yeah.
about next year.
Yeah. I mean, it's March. It's March.
March.
So,
Yeah.
you have a lot of time to
Two
think
weeks.
about it
I
too.
have 2 weeks.
Oh, that's right. Why do they do
Yep.
that? That's
I
such a,
don't know.
I don't know. Like,
Congratulations, you 1000s. You finished. Are you
yeah.
do it again?
I do it again, like no
You're
time to
still
get
sitting
over
in
the
home recovering.
hangover. Right. Right. Oh my God. They do that on purpose to torture us,
They
but
do, for
um
sure.
I really appreciate you coming to talk to us about or to me about that. And I think yeah, these are good stories and good experiences, win, lose, or draw.
Yeah.
So congratulations for getting out there
Thank you.
and doing something pretty big. It's pretty cool. So,
Absolutely.
all right. I will see you on the other side, dear. Thank you. Thanks.
Yep. Thanks.